From scenic California all the way across country back to the East Coast, it's time for Revolution, the Chevy American Revolution 400 here at Richmond Raceway. Under the lights is what we're setting up for here tonight. Race 7 of 24 in the Winstel Cup Series season. The championship has ebbed and flowed through the first 6 races. There's 16 races in the regular season. We're almost to the halfway point. Halfway point is going to be next week after this race. 10 drivers make the chase for the Winstel Cup. That's the eye on the prize right now. Sean Peleg leads the group. But for everyone tuning in here to Avian Esports 1, welcome to our coverage of the Winstel Cup Series right here from Richmond Raceway. It's going to be a very interesting race, one of the more physical races we've seen so far this season. 100 laps here tonight. Going to be a wild turn of events. I'm Carmen, Sienna. Typically, I have a partner in crime, Joe Cortez. He is traveling home, so we hope him very safe travels. He will be here tonight, or tomorrow night, for HTL Daytona 500 qualifying, but he's traveling home tonight, so he's not going to be available. We hope him safe travels and he gets home safely so we can hear him tomorrow alongside Kevin Young. So I get to lead you through all the action. This is a track that is either adored or hated, depending on who you talk to and their experiences with this track. One thing universal is that this is a very tire-demanding racetrack. It is very much a handful. You saw there, Sean Peleg, your points leader, come down to a slowdown there in turn 1. Tire run's going to be so important. Managing momentum is going to be so important. A lot of cars on track here tonight, as we always see. 36 cars here tonight. The smallest field of the season. Still 36 cars. That's a lot to be aware of and try to keep your head on a swivel around this 0.75 mile racetrack. 3/4 of a mile, the lap length here around Richmond Raceway. And again, we talk about, the standings and where everything's looking at right now. Here's a look at the top 10. If the chase were to start today, Sean Peleg would be entering as the points leader. Gabriel Mauricio, our Daytona 500 race winner, sitting in second by a mere 6 points. That is nothing when you think about the point system. 180 points for race win, 175 for second. Thomas Lewandowski sitting in third. Had a shaky couple races, but has rebounded pretty nicely there in the 21 machine. Aaron Smith in the 59. Sitting only 50 points behind, and then Dylan Roberts, Emily Howe, Jose Solis Jr., Christian Budd, Mike Rasmus, who has a penalty to serve. He was not present for the race last week at Fontana. He will start this race a lap down for incidents from Martinsville. Chris Champeau rounds up the top 10 there in the top 10 there. That's the chase if it were to start today. And then there's a gap between Chris Champeau and Brendan McGee. Fontana widened things up a little bit between Champeau and McGee. Christina Ryan up a spot, the 12th, but still 30 points behind Brendan McGee. A lot of time. There's no need for any of these drivers that are on your screen right now to hit the panic button, but you need to start working and putting in some top 10 performances, some more of them if you're in the case of McGee and Doucette and Parker Alexander trying to climb their way back forward after having a very rough start of the season. They're not out of it, those Hendrick cars, but they need to continue that momentum. They need to continue that success, especially in Doucette's case from Fontana. Likewise, we're not worrying about this tonight because no one's going home, but there's a race in 7 days' time at Charlotte Motor Speedway where this line will be very important, the cut line for the Winstel Cup Series. Go or go homers. If you're below 35th, you have to qualify your way in every week. Right now, Mo Perry at the very edge of that cut line ahead of Philip Snipes, Craig Lautenschlager, Justin Howell, Hayden Rapus. Rapus with a mechanical issue will not be present tonight, I do not believe, unless he's gotten that fixed. I'd be surprised if he's gotten that fixed. It was a pretty significant issue there for the 89 car. Kyle Benson, who has had a very terrible start to the season. He needs to rebound nicely just to get into safety there. Mark Parkhurst, who has not been very present out to the first couple races. Matt Taylor, who's joined in late. Rory Collins, who's been on a part-time basis. So you see that list, that top 35. There's only a couple drivers in legitimate danger going into Charlotte next week. But something to keep your eye on here on the race for the top 35. That's something that will be even more important at the end of the season. Top 35 locked in the first 4 races of the next season. So something to very much keep an eye on going through all of that. We are still in warm-up here. So warm-up about to come to a close, I do believe. In fact, the checkered flag in warm-up has concluded. We'll have qualifying coming up here. This is where it gets very interesting. One time lap for all the drivers in qualifying. These tires will be very cold through the entire qualifying run for everybody here. Going to be very important to make sure you get it right. Go ahead and move over to the qualifying run down here. A lot of cars getting ready to jump on track here. Let's see if we can jump on board with someone that we know is going to be pretty competitive here, Jose Solis Jr. Keep an eye on where Jose Solis Jr.'s lap time is going to look. First podium of the season last week in California. Looking to maximize that and keep momentum going here at Richmond. Ran high there in 1 and 2. Again, grip's just not going to be there. It's about maximizing your opportunity, though, on the racetrack. Jose Solis Jr. through 3 and 4. Steps out a little bit there in the entry. Keys up planted. He will take provisional pole, but it immediately gets bounced by Alex Kolonix. Zach Campbell goes to the pole position. Now we'll focus a little bit further down. Emily Howe about to set a lap time here. Where does the number 15 go? Emily Howe, 119.38 mile-an-hour lap time. Enough for P5, right behind Jose Solis Jr. We'll look now. Chris Champeau just at a lap time, 9th fastest there for Champeau. And now we'll look at Parker Alexander just now beginning his lap time. He was outside the top 10, but not in danger of being out of reach of the chase standings. But needs another good run like what he had last time out. Running through 3 and 4, hugs that yellow line on the exit. Looks like a solid lap time, but is it a fast lap time? It is. It is a front row lap time. He'll be alongside the defending series champion Tyler Head on the front row of the grid. Can Christian Budd do anything about it? The number 17, DeWalt Ford, rolling through 3 and 4. This is a timed lap for him and for Ali Osman. That was as close as you can get it. That's almost, I think, level with Jose Solis Jr. It is. He'll be behind Jose Solis Jr., though. 7th fastest for Christian Budd. Alex Bates went 18th fastest. Brandon Cruz back in black. The number 20 machine. 31 cars set lap times. Brandon Cruz looking to make inroads. And it's not going to count. You will start from the back of the field. TJ Crampton in the 50 just at a lap time. That was not valid. Tagged the wall on his qualifying run. Brandon Cruz coming out of pit lane here. He started his lap, so I don't believe he's going to be able to set a valid lap time here. I believe this is mostly just for practice while you've got time to make things happen. TJ Crampton doing the exact same thing. We usually don't see the full 10 minutes of qualifying, but the driver is just wanting to maximize their time on track here. And Cruz will pull it to a stop. Sean Palek actually about to start qualifying, run the points leader. Some work to do to solidify his place at the front of the field. Let's see what car number 48 can do here in Richmond. Time lap on the table now for Palek. Down the back straightaway into 3 and 4. Things are looking pretty solid right now for Palek. Not too awful testy. Through 3 and 4 across the line. 118.71. Not a great lap time. 21st fastest. And it looked like he was being pretty safe on that lap time, and that was indeed the case. Unfortunately there for Sean Pele, just not where he wanted to be to start this race off. Tyler Head and Parker Alexander, your front row going into this. They're going to have an absolutely fantastic time going into this. Let's go ahead and focus on your starting grid. It's Tyler Head and Parker Alexander at the front of the field. But behind them, bit of a who's who, Zach Campbell and Alex Kolonix in row number 2. It's Dylan Roberts in row 3 ahead of Jose Solis Jr. Christian Budd in row 4 alongside Emily Howe, who's had a phenomenal last few races, putting her in the top 10 of points. Looking to stay that way here in Richmond. Ryan Doucette in the 10 alongside Larry Pace, who has been someone to keep an eye on. He's been willing to really defy the odds and try to make things happen. It's almost worked twice in a row now at Martinsville and at Fontana. Let's see if third time's the charm for the 98 machine. As you look throughout the field now, it's Anthony Kroback and Ali Osman in row 6. That's 11th to 12th. Chris Champeau and Nick Doucette make up the top 14. They're in row 7. Mike Rasmus will have to start a lap down in this field, serving a penalty from 2 weeks ago at Martinsville, but he qualified alongside Kyle Benson in row 8. Matt Taylor and Alex Bates will be in row 9. Remember, everyone behind Rasmus on the inside lane will move up a spot because of that penalty. Gabriel Mauricio alongside Thomas Lewandowski. Two drivers we've seen around each other very often. They'll have to move to the field together here tonight. Further down the order, Sean Pele, a points leader, starting 21st alongside Matt Sisler. Mo Perry alongside Philip Snipes, 35th and 36th in points. They're starting in the top 24, 23rd and 24th here tonight. Davin Cornelius and Brennan McGee in row 13. Row 14 is Tyler Murray and Bob Bryant. Bob Bryant making his debut in the Winstel Cup Series here tonight. Jared Bales and Corey Cook make up the top 30. Again, looking further throughout the field here, 19 rows of cars, so everyone's able to race, everyone's safe to go. Rory Collins, Andrew Griesbaum in row 16. Brandon Cruz did not get us a lap time, neither did TJ Crampton. Ken Huff, Corey Steinhauser, and Kenneth Askew will round out the field here tonight. 37 cars here at Richmond Raceway. Right on cue as the cars begin rolling. 2 formation laps here at Richmond Raceway. All short ovals have 2 formation laps. Gives you a chance to get some heat into these tires, although with the temperatures going to be continuing to drop as the sun continues to set fully behind the grandstands. It's going to be about who can manage the temperatures the best going into this opening sequence. It can be a nightmare. Again, your top 5 going into the start of this race. Tyler Head, the defending series champion. Parker Alexander, Alex Kolonix, Zach Campbell, and Jose Solis Jr. on the outside. He's listed as being in the top 5 on the timing and scoring, but it's Dylan Roberts, as it shows on your screen, that is actually starting this race in the 5th position. As we get ready to go green, a lot of good looking cars on track for this evening. 100 laps to get ready to go racing here tonight. Race 7 of 24, race 7 of 16 in the regular season. It's Tyler Head and Parker Alexander leading us to green. Green flag is in the air. We're underway and racing in Virginia. Still side by side, front of the field. Collins in the 45, drops down to 4th. Everyone trying to sort their way through. Riding on board with your second place driver, Alexander, for a brief moment as Campbell tries to go for second place. But you see the entire field sorting down into turns 1 and 2, and around we go. Everyone finding their stride early on here. Again, very long race. It will be very much based on how well you can keep a hold of those tires, this Goodyear Eagles. As Campbell goes to second place, Tyler Head sitting in the lead still at number 4. Unusually blank, but not unusually fantastic at the short ovals. We know how good Campbell is. He's just not had a chance to get to victory lane. Alexander keeping himself in form ahead of Dylan Roberts. Alex Kolonix in the 45, trying to find his stride as well. They were on the outside on the start. Alexander gets to the inside lane now, but Kolonix does not have the opportunity. Him and Jose Solis Jr. still on the outside looking in, quite literally. Everyone doing an outstanding job here so far. As you see, Zach Campbell going for the race lead. Can he do it? Trying to fight with Tyler Head. The work continues in massive ways. Tyler Head defending very well from Zach Campbell, who's gotten to his quarter panel, got to his door, but has not been able to break through and go after the race lead in earnest. Tyler Head using the outside lane now to his advantage. Will pull away here from Campbell. Campbell still going to sit at end 3 and 4. Alexander watching ahead of Dylan Roberts, with Christian Budd and Alex Kolonix side by side for the top 5. Here comes Dylan Roberts on to Parker Alexander. And there's Emily Howe on the outside, very far outside, battling Larry Pace. Still a lot of side-by-side action throughout the front of the field. Emily Howe now relying on the outside lane because of how crowded the inside lane is. Seeing if she can get that Napa Auto Parts number 15 forward and through, back where she started in 8th place ahead of Larry Pace. Ryan Doucette sitting in the 10th position ahead of Ali Osman, who's also up a spot. Nick Doucette up 2 spots. 24, DuPont Chevrolet drifts up the racetrack. Everyone trying to find some clean real estate to make momentum. Behind them is teammates Chris Champeau and Anthony Krovach. They're just inside the top 15, as is Kyle Benson. Gabriel Mauricio outside looking in on the top 15. Same with Thomas Lewandowski. Lewandowski in the Renaissance number 21. Watching as Benson and Mauricio almost make contact. Alex Bates and Sean Peleg 18th to 19th. Mo Perry up to 20th. Up 3 spots. Biggest gainer so far, however, has been the debutant Bob Bryant. Bryant up to the 21st position, up 7 spots. Looking to try to get around Perry. As the 51 tries to send it into the inside lane. That's Matt Taylor in the 32 and Tyler Murray in the 33 just behind them as racing continues on here. Philip Snipes is still where he started. He's not made any inroads there. Matt Sisler in the 91 battling with Davin Cornelius, a friend of ABN. Drive through, trying to drive through the field, but struggling to do so on that outside lane, deep in traffic so far. And then you see the 6 car of Mike Rasmus started this race 1 lap down in the field. But right now, as things stand, he would be the free pass recipient. If a caution were to come out, he's the only car off the lead lap at the moment. We've had 13 caution-free laps so far, though. Coming across the line to start lap 14, it's still Tyler Head leading the way. The defending series champion over Zach Campbell. A little bit of contact through 1 and 2. Spare no quarter, spare no expense, hold no punches. At the front of the field as Roberts and Parker Alexander also go for it for 3rd. Tyler Head already a race winner this season. Zach Campbell wants to experience that joy as well as Alexander holds off Roberts. Kolonix in 5th, holding off Christian Budd, and now has to worry about Jose Solis Jr. as well. Double-edged sword there behind Kolonix. But again, not a lot to speak of on Kolonix here this season. He's got 1 win. He won a couple years ago, back in Dover. So it's been quite some time since we've seen Kolonix in victory lane. Obviously, last time we saw Kolonix, he was in the Winstel 400 in January. But this is now his 2nd start of the season after racing last week to very minimal fanfare at Fontana. coming in force and really coming out to shine here at Richmond under the lights. Emily Howe in 8th behind Christian Budd still as Larry Pace sends it to the inside lane. Open real estate there for the 98. 25th in points entering this race so far, doing a pretty good job. Up a spot ahead of Ryan Doucette. They traded places on the initial start. But now Pace trying to go after Emily Howe once again, trying to advance more positions. Here comes Nick Doucette. Doucette drifted up the racetrack very deep into turns 3 and 4. Could not get around Ali Osman. Zach Campbell likewise has gotten around Tyler Head eventually. Took him 19 laps to do so, but he did send it and get himself clear over the 4 ahead. And here comes Alexander and Roberts to try to poach second place away from the defending champ. 37 cars, all of them still running. Rasmus a lap down due to a penalty he had to serve from Martinsville 2 weeks ago. But it has been outstanding so far to kick things off. Very blistering pace so far here at Richmond. Just trying to make magic happen. Last time we were in Virginia, Martinsville 2 weeks ago, it was calamity. It's been everything but so far. Tyler Head still defending well from Alexander, Roberts, and Jose Solis Jr., who's gotten into the top 5 ahead of Kolonix. So has Christian Budd. Kolonix now down 3 spots from 4th to 7th, and here comes Emily Howe. Emily Howe and Ryan Doucette. Doucette sends it to the inside lane. Howe got ahead of Doucette marginally for a moment. But the pace of this event increasing as we go through. Again, I don't think we were expecting that to be this fast and just clicking up laps like this as we have been. Based on practice, it seemed like drivers were struggling a lot, especially on the exit of turn 4. That's still the case, but not nearly as much, as there was a little bit of contact between Alex Bates, not Alex Bates, that was Chris Champeau and Thomas Lewandowski. Lewandowski not taking no for an answer, getting up to 17th position ahead of Champeau. Pele got around both of them for 16th. Larry Pace slowly dropping down the order. Was in the top 10 for most of the early stanza of this race, now down the 12th. Has been passed by Howe, Osman, Doucette, and now under threat from the 38 of Kyle Benson. Gabriel Mauricio in the 40, Anthony Krobach in 15th. Behind Mauricio, Sean Peleg 16th, up 5 spots. Biggest gainer so far is still the 20, or still the 51, and 20th right now. That's close. Rasmus trying to make his way through, trying to race his way around. Moperi almost spun. Bryant, though, the debutant, sitting 8 positions better than where he started this race. As we continue to clock out laps here in Richmond. Murray tagged the wall just a moment, though. Got passed by Cornelius and getting passed now by McGee. Both of the Dodge Evernham cars battling with somebody. Snipes battling with Corey Cook. And then as you see the third Evernham car, that's the 91 of Sisler, sitting in the 27th position at the moment. TJ Crampton, who did not set a lap time in qualifying, in 28th ahead of Jared Bales. A lot of good stuff happening here. Here comes Solis on Alexander. Alexander using the outside lane to defend well. Solis got to the inside, got around Dylan Roberts, but still putting up a fight, and everyone overdriving turns 1 and 2. Really kind of helps out Tyler Head because it allows him to pull away a little bit, and so will Alexander, who stays on the outside and overdrives it. Same with Jose Solis, who just was up from the yellow line. Battling for third here. Alexander currently has it. Solis wants it. A lot of racing going on here throughout the field. We'll zoom out wide. This is from above the broadcast booth here at Richmond. You can see how far away Zach Campbell has gotten, the 41. Leaving your screen now, and then everyone else. Campbell enjoying his lofty lead at the moment, 30 laps in. Tyler Head, the defending series champion, staying in the second position. Parker Alexander in third. But importantly, no one in danger of really going a lap down. Brandon Cruz would be the next driver to go a lap down here. Mike Rasmus still the only driver to do so. Bob Bryant coming down pit lane, the debutant. Did he tag the wall? Oh, he very much did. Damage on that right front fender, but he is in pit lane. There goes Zach Campbell around pit entry. Three wide for third, behind the defending champion. Solis Jr. has the position, but Alexander Roberts wanting to still duke it out. Jose Solis Jr. drifts up wide once again. Drivers have their hands full right now. The good wrench, number 29, trying to set sail and go for second place here. Tyler Head managing his pace, but now feeling the pressure. Here comes Dylan Roberts in the lead. That Budweiser Chevrolet trying to go for the podium as well, sitting in a lofty top 5 position, but wants a little bit more. Solis Jr. tags the wall a little bit through 3 and 4, will not lose third, but Roberts will clear for fourth. And the racing continues on. Lap 34 underway. Tyler Head having to defend from Jose Solis Jr. Solis on the outside lane where he wants to be. And he's going to race his way around Tyler Head. Same with Dylan Roberts following through in force. Again, everyone trying to protect those tires a little bit here. Tyler Head staying on the bottom of the racetrack, knows that's where he wants the car to be, and adjusting his pace accordingly. Same with Ryan Doucette, who's moved up 4 spots, trying to take on Parker Alexander. And Emily Howell just behind. Ali Osmond up 4 spots as well into the top 10. Ahead of Christian Budd and Collins duke it out. There's the 80 of Kenneth Askew coming out of pit lane as well. Some pit stops are taking place here. Bryant, Bates, Champeau, Griesbaum, Askew, Huff, Nick Doucette, Corey Steinhauser all in pit lane here. And here comes the 17 of Christian Budd. Budd comes down pit lane. Zach Campbell has clear real estate still. First pit stops of the race. What we're expecting to see, could see 3 of them, depending on when some of these drivers have made their pit stops. Some of the drivers coming in now looking at a 2-stop race. Some drivers coming down pit lane. You saw there some cars getting past it. That's Ryan Doucette, Parker Alexander, Alice Collins, Gabriel Mauricio, Larry Pace, Davin Cornelius, Jared Bales, all in pit lane. A lot of cars in pit lane, and this is a very slow pit lane. And here comes the 41 of Zach Campbell, as well as Jose Solis Jr. and the 8 of Dylan Roberts. Ali Osmond stays out. Ali Osmond leads a lap. 5 bonus points there for leading a lap. And he's got a decent gap over Kyle Benson, sitting now in second place. Thomas Lewandowski in third. As you see some cars coming out pit lane, Ryan and Nick Doucette, the 10 and the 24, leaving pit lane now. Lewandowski stays out, as does Osmond. And Brandon McGee and Corey Cook, top 4 there, have all stayed out at this point in time, as has the 32 of Matt Taylor. So 5 cars have stayed out of this race, have stayed out from pit lane so far. Again, this is a 2-stop race for them, very clearly a two-stop race for them. I wonder if they're trying to make it as close to 50 as possible to really trim out a stop altogether. It'll be interesting to see if that does work. Osmond has all the time in the world He'll come in this time, though. Lewandowski, McGee, and Cook came in before. Trouble. Caution's out. Caution's out. Caution's out. Alex Bates, Tyler Head, and more involved. And that is a lightsaber for Ali Osman, who entered pit lane first. Matt Taylor stays out, so he'll pin a lot of cars a lap down. And that puts the race on its head. Alex Bates involved, Tyler Head involved, and others. Andrew Griesbaum involved as well. A lot of cars involved in this one. We're going to sort this out. So as we do, let's take a look at what happened here with Alex Bates. Trouble for Bates. That's the 45 of Connix, who got right underneath the 25 and then tagged the 4 Tyler Head. And that's where we picked up. You see Andrew Griesbaum, the 49, is the 11 of Krobach. And that is the difference between faster cars on fresh tires and cars getting up to speed still. It takes a couple laps for these tires to really grab temperature. Alex Bates was dealing with that while also trying to avoid being lapped by those cars, and got ran over by Connix. Just got completely run over by Connix. We'll take another look at it here, because this was a very aggressive spin for Alex Bates. This is entering turn 1. Connix in the 45. And you see Connix just has a way better drive off here and just runs him right over. Gets him turned around. He has to low it up here to avoid running into him any further. Gets tagged by Tyler Head, who's trying to slot into the underneath of him. And Tyler Head gets turned for his troubles as well. Off the nose of the 45. Into the wall he goes. Matt Taylor, who somehow avoided all of that melee, was leading at the time of caution, got a pit stop, and really stays right where he was started. 17th is where he started. He's right back in that position now. Bob Bryant in 16th. Doing a fantastic job. Ali Osman will leave pit lane just ahead of him. Osman coming back down, got a free pit stop out of that. Unfortunately, lost some positions in that process. It kind of threw everyone off. Front of the field now is going to be Ryan Doucette. Wild stuff here. Ken Huff going to try to get a lap back here. We'll look at the field at the bottom of your screen. Nick Doucette, Jose Solis Jr., Gabriel Mauricio, Zach Campbell, Christian Budd, your top 5. Looking further through the field, Dylan Roberts, Parker Alexander, Emily Howe, Thomas Lewandowski, and Brendan McGee, your top 10. Very interestingly, no Christina Ryan in this race. Didn't talk about it going into this event, but no Christina Ryan here. Going to be very interesting. Christina will fall down the points order significantly, missing this race. But hopefully you get to see Christina again next week at what has become her home track at Charlotte. Corey Cook 11th, Brandon Cruz up to P12, a good divot in there for Cruz. Chris Champeau in 13th. Ali Osman 14th. 15th is the points leader entering this race, Sean Peleg. Tyler Head in 16th. On lead lap, thankfully, a lot of the cars end up being back on lead lap, 28 cars to do so. Larry Pace, Kyle Benson, Davin Cornelius, TJ Crampton, top 20. Tyler Murray, Matt Sisler, Corey Steinhauser, Rory Collins, Jared Bales, top 25. Further down the order, this week you start seeing some of the drivers that were pinned a lap down. Ken Huff got a wave around there, back on the lead lap. Bob Bryant, Alex Connix, the last car to be on the lead lap. First car lap down, Philip Snipes. Same with Nick Doucette, who was pinned a lap down there. You see some drivers sorting themselves through here. Doucette will be on the inside lane. Same with the 19 of Philip Snipes. Cars to the inside lane, a lap down. Cars in the outside lane on the lead lap. More lead lap cars still than lap down cars as the lights go out on the pace car. We'll keep browsing through the field though. Mo Perry, Mike Rasmus, Matt Taylor, Kenneth Askew, Anthony Krobach, your top 35. 2 cars left. Alex Bates and Andrew Griesbaum, both of them still in pit lane, as well as Krobach. Griesbaum's race is over. before the halfway point here tonight. Looks like Krobach's race also still going here, though several laps down now. Well, gives us 35 cars on track as the pace car comes down pit lane. The restart zone we go. Green flag is in the air and away we go. And immediately Solis looked to the outside. But here comes Doucette on the inside lane trying to get his lap back. He does so. Here's also Zach Campbell. The 41 of Campbell ahead of his teammate Mauricio. They're going for the race lead. Campbell had a giant lead. Now it's in the hands of Doucette and Solis. Mauricio in fourth. Christian Budd top 5. Side by side, looking 3 wide. Solis outside. Ryan Doucette middle. Zach Campbell to the inside lane. They stay 3 wide. Nick Doucette ahead of them on the lead lap. He's hoping it stays that way. Here they go, side by side still, 3 wide. Ryan Doucette backs out of it, got loose. Solis led that lap. But Campbell's been the class of the field here so far. Got to the lead and did not look back, but Solis tried to fight for it. Caution's out for the second time. So Solis holds on to the race lead. And I believe this could be Sean Peleg and Corey Cook. Let's take a look here on the replay. This is the 48 and the 0, center of your screen. This would be entering turn 1. Peleg feints the inside lane. Cook backs it up big time, and both of them get turned around because Larry Pace nowhere to go. Same with Kyle Benson. And there's going to be frustration for Peleg because he's going to believe that Corey Cook slowed down prematurely there entering turn 1, which may be correct. Let's take another look at it and let's slow it down. Crossed our finish line here. Not a great angle. Let's go ahead and pause it and reverse it here for just a moment. Caution out for the second time tonight, this time entering turns 1 and 2. Yeah, Peleg's not going to be happy. Let's go ahead and slow this down. Now we've got a good chopper cam going. Cook's going to slow down pretty massively here, and Peleg's already sending it to the inside lane. But Cook slows down way earlier than Peleg and anyone else around him, really. Larry Pace caught off guard there. Tyler Head caught off guard there. Yeah, Peleg's going to be very frustrated by that because he feels like Corey Cook stopped very early there. Kyle Benson got a piece of that. He didn't want a piece of it, but got volunteered into that one. So Peleg going to be very unhappy with how all of that took place. He's going to end up in a massive deficit here. As everything continues onwards here at Richmond. We crossed the halfway point, but quickly back under caution. Some cars did come down pit lane here. A fair handful of them. Top 4 stayed out, though. Campbell, Lewandowski, Cornelius, and Pace, the 4 that stayed out. Interestingly, Jose Solis Jr., one of the ones that came down pit lane, was not the first one out. Christian Budd, Brendan McGee, Parker Alexander, and Emily Howe all ahead of the 29. Interesting results coming out of how this race is really spun on its head here. Philip Snipes ended up back on the lead lap there. He got the free pass. Nick Doucette, who raced his way back to the lead lap, now firmly on the lead lap. He is 23rd here. That leaves 29 cars on the lead lap at the moment. Corey Cook in pit lane, getting some more repair work done, as well as Jared Bales and Kyle Benson. Benson involved in that accident as well. Sean Peleg pinned a lap down now behind Matt Taylor and Mike Rasmus. And you see the damage on that 48 car, that Lowe's machine. Pretty beat up here in Richmond. Not what he wanted to see. coming to 1 lap to green. It's Matt Taylor. On the inside lane, he'll be the first car a lap down. Zach Campbell, Thomas Lewandowski, David Cornelius, and Larry Pace stayed out under this caution. Everyone else came in for either fuel only, 2 tires, or 4 tires. But Zach Campbell feeling confident that his pace untouchable with the cars behind him where they are. He may be right. But we are going to find out here. And they are going to fan out massively entering turn 1 once again. 29 cars on the lead lap. Green flag back in the air. Away we go. Bo Perry leaving pit lane there. See if we can get through a couple laps here without an issue. Everyone trying to make inroads on to improve their position. Fantastic camera angles here around the track. Really kind of gives you the speed and sort of the uncertainty going into the corners as they keep wobbling around. Lewandowski keeping pace there with the 41 of Zach Campbell. Cornelius staying in 3rd, but again, pit stop still await at least the top 4, if not everybody. That's sort of the question mark. Can those that pit on lap 52 make it all the way? I don't believe they can. That's 48 laps. You got a couple of caution laps to help you out there. No one made it more than 41 on that last green flag run. So they may be made out pretty well here, because they will be one of the first ones in. They will have the freshest tires here for a period of time once they make that pit stop. Again, sort of hope that more melee happens and you just don't lose that position. Christian Budd, the first one to really make inroads here, gets around Larry Pace and looks to the outside of Cornelius. Christian Budd looks to the inside of the 77. This is for 3rd. Campbell and Lewandowski, they're setting the pace right now at the front of the field, 1st and 2nd. Here comes Budd looking for 3rd. It was Cornelius at the line. Not going to give it up without a fight here. But so far doing an outstanding job. Going into turns 3 and 4 here. But finally gets clear of Cornelius. But now it's another wall. This time 3 cars between Budd and you look at Parker Alexander now, because he's also going to get around Mike Rasmus, who is now believe he is the first car a lap down officially. He is. The 6th car, the first car a lap down. He's in the catbird seat, trying to control his own future the best way he can, overcoming that penalty he had to serve at the beginning of this race. So far doing a good job of it. Because he's also taking on Davin Cornelius and really opening up a hole for Alexander to try to follow through. Emily Howe pinned on the outside lane, on the outside of Jose Solis Jr. Mauricio on the outside as well. May move to the inside lane before Ali Osman closes that door. A little bit of contact there between the 30 and the 8, between Osman and Roberts. Coming to 35 laps to go. It's 3 wide. Howe on the outside of Mauricio and Solis. As again, we look at the contact between the 8 and the 30. Once again, contact entering turn 1. Roberts leaning on Osman. Howe drifting out wide. This could end up being a 4 wide situation. Not pleasant. Osman got loose. Roberts threads the needle and gets through. And Osman loses another spot to Champeau. Osman now out of the top 10, back where he started this race in 12th, but here comes Ryan Doucette. Caution's out. Further back in the field, it's Matt Taylor. And a lot of cars involved. Mo Perry, Taylor, Sean Peleg involved in that as well. Third caution of the race on lap 68. Let's look at what happened here. This is the 32 of Matt Taylor, the 91 of Matt Sisler, and the 24 of Nick Doucette. Let's play it at speed. Replay on your screen. Just bounces off of Doucette there. I don't know if Doucette didn't know that they were 3 wide. Because it seemed like Doucette really just kind of moved up the racetrack there. It looked like they almost thought that they got clear of the 91. As we get to our handy-dandy chopper cam. Yeah, Doucette and Taylor draw contact initially. Perry tries checking up, so Perry and Peleg just kind of melee their way into the accident there. Perry was trying to check up big time and just got slammed by Peleg. Checks up, checks up, checks up, sees him check up. Peleg doesn't. And just slams right through him. That's rough. And that can't get much more unfortunate if you're Mo Perry. He was doing the right thing there. He 100% was doing the right thing. This is from the hood, I believe. Let's see if we can go to... See if we can go to Peleg here. Here's Peleg. Riding on board with him. And that's what Peleg saw. The points leader having a rough night so far. 31st now where he's at. And he is going to try to get a wave around here. This would put him back on the lead lap in a car that is not too far away from becoming a modified. So Peleg gets a wave around here, will become a lead lap car. Meanwhile, in front of the field is Philip Snipes. 1 lap to green. It's Snipes over Campbell, Lewandowski, Jose Solis Jr., and Gabriel Mauricio in your top 5. Just sort of browsing and perusing through the field here. Campbell in second there. You see Thomas Lewandowski in third, looking nice in that Renault Center car. Jose Solis Jr. in the 29. And Gabriel Mauricio in the 5th position. Emily Howe in 6th. Ali Osman in 7th. Chris Champeau up to 8th. Ryan Doucette back where he started in 9th. And then Christian Budd in the top 10 still ahead of Tyler Head and Nick Doucette. Green flag back in the air. Away we go. Did not get a great launch. Here goes Campbell and here goes everybody else. Not a great start for Philip Snipes. And he got swarmed immediately. What a swarm there by by Campbell and the company. Really putting the beat down on Philip Snipes there on that initial start. Now getting passed by Emily Howe here for the top 5. That moves Emily Howe to 5th. Tyler Head in 7th, Chris Champeau in 8th. But it's all about Zach Campbell and Jose Solis Jr., 2 of the fastest cars on track. Now finally get to duke it out a little bit here. Campbell goes a little bit wide in 1 and 2. Campbell leads the way. Solis Jr. set the fast lap of the race that last lap. Fast laps only get you so much if you're stuck behind the race leader. Lewandowski stays third, Mauricio up to fourth, Emily Howe up to fifth, as Philip Snipes continues to lose spots, and you see the gaggle of cars he's in. He's on the outside of all of it. This is not a self-cleaning racetrack, though. If a caution happens, it usually goes up the track, not down it. Getting passed now by the 51, that is Bob Bryant, the debutant. Moving up the order as Philip Snipes free falls down it. There's McGee in the 9. Teammates there for Ray Everham Motorsports. And McGee's going to get around Philip Snipes as well. Nick Doucette trying to get into the top 10. Right now has it, but Davin Cornelius is fighting for it. This could be one of the best finishes of the season for Cornelius so far. Really putting in the effort in that 77 car. That red and yellow Robert Yates racing machine sitting on the inside of Alexander, who's also trying to get into the top 10. A lot of cars fighting for the top 10 like a school of piranhas. They smell blood in the water. Champeau and Ryan Doucette just ahead in this group. And then there's a breakaway where you see Christian Budd and Tyler Head. Small breakaway that they're trying to really close up here. Emily Howe ahead of them as well. Meanwhile, you think about what it could have been. Alex Kolnick's had a very fast race car, but now mired deep in traffic, getting around Phil Snipes here, who continues his free fall backwards. Tyler Murray, Jared Bales, there's Corey Cook in the mix as well. They've already been passed by TJ Crampton. Less than 20 laps to go here in Richmond. You're not where you want to be at this point. That is for sure. Some shuffling going on here. Alexander ahead of Larry Pace and Nick Doucette. Doucette on the inside lane, getting passed by Pace. Larry Pace now sitting 11th. As that was Cornelius that got loose entering 1. He'll lose another spot to Dylan Roberts in the meantime. But fighting hard. Another car fighting hard is Mauricio and Lewandowski side by side for third. Christian Budd moving up to fifth, got around Emily Howe. And Mauricio does clear. The Brazilian driver up to third. Here comes Christian Budd. 2 Fords trying to chase down the Dodge on the podium at the moment. Then you got a couple of Chevrolets with Howe and Tyler Head. Setting up for what could be a grandstand finish here in this group. The Daytona 500 winner in third, trying to take over the points lead. There was a mere 6 points between him and Sean Peleg. Lewandowski sitting third in points, also in the mix, but hoping that if he can't catch Mauricio, maybe Christian Budd can and pull him right back to him. 31 cars on the lead lap here with 14 laps to go. Christian Budd can't get around Lewandowski. 3 wide now. He's found himself in the middle of it. Emily Howe up to fifth once again, trying to find a way around Lewandowski as well. They stay 3 wide out of 4. But they fan out. Howe up in the upper lane there. Christian Budd drove to the inside lane, but Emily Howell's got the momentum and stays clear. Repetition is key. Christian Budd gets clear of Howell, goes level with Lewandowski, but the outside lane still prevailing, at least for the moment. But that was Budd's best shot so far in this green flag run, 12 to go. Almost contact there between Lewandowski and Howell. That gave Budd an opportunity. An opportunity to get clear, an opportunity for Howell to drive underneath the 21 as Ryan Doucette and Parker Alexander have arrived. Lewandowski trying to side draft the 15. It does not work. Howell gets clear. 3 wide. In the middle, 3 wide. Ryan Doucette, they bounce. Ryan Doucette charging for the 10 car. Has had to fight his way back to the top 10, looking at top 5. Emily Howell trying to defend it. Stays on the outside lane. 10 laps to go. Lewandowski, now that he's been moved, he's been dispatched out of the top 10. Jose Solis Jr. likewise battling with Zach Campbell. And Campbell's got a surge of momentum. Campbell sends it in deep through turns 1 and 2. Jose Solis Jr. saw it coming, over under, on the back straightaway. And drove right back around Campbell. They are putting it all on the line and still keeping Gabriel Mauricio at arm's distance, 8 to go. This is outstanding. Mauricio watching as his teammate and Jose Solis Jr. go toe-to-toe. Zach Campbell's got to telegraph that move again, but this time in 3 and 4. Jose Solis Jr. is tired of being the bridesmaid, tired of finishing on the podium, but watching the race just kind of slip out of his hands. Got his first podium last week at Fontana. Had to really drive for it. Driving for it again here. 2 drivers that have been denied time after time after time lead the way here at Richmond with 6 laps to go. Sean Paley coming down pit lane. I think he's pretty well and understood that his race, as far as being competitive, has well and truly been over. 5 to go. Solis looks like he's in control. But Campbell stays right there, stays pressuring him. And they continue to fight. Lap traffic could become a factor, though, in these next 4 laps. A couple cars coming out of pit lane. That is Peleg, one of them coming out of pit lane. Just trying to stay out of the way with the race leaders here. Campbell just struggling there in 3 and 4. It seems like he's struggling more than Solis is, but he's able to close up big time in 1 and 2, which is going to make what Campbell needs to do way harder. But here's lap traffic. There's Mo Perry in the 12. Mo Perry is 34th, not on the lead lap by any means of the imagination. But he's blocking up that middle lane, and he's going to give dirty air to Solis. 2 laps to go, 1.5 miles. They go by quick here at Richmond Raceway, but Zach Campbell knows he is running out of time. Out of the way goes Perry. Leaders will fight it out. 1 more lap. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go, Richmond. What are we going to see from the 41? Can he thwart Jose Solis Jr. out of 1 and 2? Mauricio sits 3rd. Here goes Campbell. Here he goes. They're going to get into each other. Up to the wall goes Solis. Photo finish at the line. Solis grabs it over Campbell. Mauricio finishes 3rd, but spins across the line. Campbell sent it. Solis tried to cover it off. Contact between both of them. But Solis ends up as the race winner. He finally breaks through as a race winner here in Richmond in 2024. And he gets to celebrate as a race winner officially. Ahead of Zach Campbell and Gabriel Mauricio. We'll hear from our podium finishers here momentarily. Winning moment as Jose Solis Jr. burns it down. A fantastic job there by Jose Solis Jr. As he burns it down. We're going to go ahead and go through the results here of this race. Jose Solis Jr., a fantastic job here tonight. A race winner over Zach Campbell and Gabriel Mauricio. The two of them battling allowed Mauricio to have one final push for it, but could not get any further than third. Christian Budd in fourth, ahead of Emily Howe, who stays in the top five, ahead of Ryan Doucette, Parker Alexander, Dylan Roberts, Tyler Head, and Nick Doucette rounding out your top 10 here tonight. Looking further down the order, it's Larry Pace, Davin Cornelius, Alex Kolonix up to 13th, Chris Champeau, and then Brendan McGee rounding out your top 15. TJ Crampton, Jared Bales, Mike Rasmus, Tyler Murray, and Thomas Lewandowski rounded out the top 20 here tonight. Looking further down the order, this is outside the top 20. Bob Bryant on debut was impressive, but ultimately not where he wanted to be there at the end. 21st, they had a Corey Cook, Philip Snipes in 23rd, Rory Collins, Kyle Benson, and Brandon Cruz in top 26. Matt Sisler, Corey Steinhauser, Ken Huff, and Ali Osman rounding out the top 30. Ali Osman falling off hard there in the later stages of that race. And then 7 cars at the end of the leaderboards here. It's Kenneth Askew, Matt Taylor, Sean Peleg, Mo Perry, Anthony Krobach, Alex Bates, and Andrew Griesbaum. Your 37 cars here at Richmond as we finish this race under the lights. It's a revolution for some. It's Gabriel Mauricio back on the top step of the point standings. He's back leading the points here in a fantastic way. We'll talk to all 3 of our podium finishers here tonight. Again, a reminder that we will be rating ABN Esports 2 in their coverage of the Bracket Breaker 300 for the ARCS A-Squared Cup Series season after this, so don't go anywhere. We'll lead you directly to them for that broadcast going on right now from Charlotte Motor Speedway, a place where we'll be next week for the Winstel Cup Series season. Just a reminder again, next week this race will be at Charlotte for the Winstel Cup Series season. We will talk to our podium finishers, though, here tonight. They did a fantastic job. Let's start with the new points leader, Gabriel Mauricio, the driver of the number 40 Coors Light Dodge. Gabriel, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
What a drive tonight. Obviously, third place. After starting this race outside of where you wanted to, up 16 spots, you gained the championship lead back. Walk us through this race for you, because it was all over the place.
Yeah, it was brutal. Second week in a row that I qualified terribly. I struggled last week at Auto Club qualifying, and this track I usually qualify well, race well, so I was at least expecting to qualify a lot better, at least in the top 10, but apparently I underdrove, and it was a struggle to walk back through the field.
Obviously, with this racetrack, you had the ability to make passes happen. Obviously, you talk about your qualifying issues last week and this week. It didn't stop you from retaking the points lead here. Obviously, Sean Peleg's bad race. He ended up finishing outside the top 30. You finished ahead of Lewandowski, who ended up finishing 20th. You really are able to put a stamp on things now. But you have Charlotte, one of the longest races on the calendar, coming up next week. How are you feeling going, obviously, into that race as the points leader, but now with a chance to really kind of spread your wings and sort of extend that gap now a little bit and solidify things, because it's been a very close group so far in the top 10 where anything could really happen. Now this was kind of a race where you kind of reset yourself and get yourself in position. Going into Charlotte, do you feel like you have the ability to carry that momentum forward?
Yeah, I do like Charlotte, but the main thing is it's going to be the longest race. And I remember last year we had a late race caution, a green white checker, and we just had a big one on the backstretch, and that took away a great finish. So I feel like the key thing is I'm not even going to be running well, just going to be surviving.
Well, you had to do that here tonight. You did a fantastic job in that, finishing third again, taking over the points lead once again. Looking at a podium here, obviously sitting there, a really good opportunity to really be in that mix. Before we let you go and let you get ready for Charlotte here in a week's time, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congratulations on a phenomenal podium. Again, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to.
I want to take a shout out to Winstel. They made a great setup for this track. I feel like sometimes we have to go a lot like half throttle on the straightaways, and with this setup we could push a lot. It was slightly frustrating that we had to pass a lot on the up top instead of the bottom, but we still put up a great racing there at the end. And even on the beginning, we had the caution didn't happen in the first half of the race that early. We actually went for quite a while.
Yeah, obviously the first 45 laps completely caution-free. Gave us a lot of racing here tonight. Gabriel, obviously, congratulations on the podium once again. Back on top of the point standings here after 7 races, 9 to go in the regular season before we determine the 10 drivers in the chase. But the number 40 car looking like a strong contender to be a championship contender by the time the chase begins. Gabriel, enjoy the podium, and we'll be seeing you next week at Charlotte.
See you.
That was Gabriel Mauricio, third place finisher. We'll talk to his teammate there for Chip Ganassi Racing, Zach Campbell, who once again has to deal with being a bridesmaid here tonight. Zach, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. Do you got a copy?
I do.
All right, Zach. Second place again. After having a dominant car in the first half of this race, the gap you had was immaculate. Walk us through the second half of the race and just trying to recover what was lost there in that first half, and obviously the battle there with Jose Solis Jr. at the end.
It wasn't too hard. I just got to get a restart, and was able to throw it up the middle and everything, so that was nice and easy. And then, yeah, the battle with Jose was fun. I had a blast. I very much enjoyed it.
You've had the race-winning pace so many times. We've seen the 41 car, whether it was at Martinsville or whether it's at Texas. The 41 car has been fast, but it seems like there's always going to be someone at the end. What circumstances seem to keep the 41 out of victory lane? Walk us through that process.
Well, I mean, I felt like I could have done something there, but I mean, I about wrecked Jose, and I felt bad, so I just lifted and let him have it coming to the line. I didn't want to win that way, so, you know, I mean, there are plenty of times where it'll come, you know.
Charlotte is next week. You talk about a race that was physical. This race was pretty physical by its own admission compared to the race before at Fontana. You go to the longest race of the season next week at Charlotte, another 100-lap race. This time a lot larger of a racetrack, double the race length. What is your feelings going into Charlotte next week? A huge race, obviously. It marks the midway point in the regular season as well. You've got momentum kind of rolling back on your side here. You talk about having the opportunity to have those race wins. Is Charlotte a track that favors you? And do you feel like you can really carry that forward and finally break through this season and grab a race win like what Jose did tonight?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I've never been great at Charlotte, so, you know, we'll see. I think the goal is just to go out there and have fun, just like every week. Just go out there and enjoy myself.
Well, you did a fantastic job tonight. Led a lot of laps here. Second place finish after starting this race in third. Never really left the top 5 at any point outside of the pit stop cycle there. If there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congratulations again on another podium here in the Winstel Cup Series. With a race win in grass, we know it's coming very soon for the 41 team.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys for broadcasting and putting on a show. And then thank you to Brennan and everyone at the Winstel crew for putting the races on. They're a lot of fun.
Absolutely a phenomenal job, a phenomenal race for the 41 car. Zach Campbell, second place tonight here at Richmond after leading a bunch of laps. I think almost leading the most laps here tonight in Richmond Raceway. He has Charlotte next week with a good opportunity to once again get to victory lane. Zach, enjoy it, and we'll be seeing you next week.
Yep, we'll be seeing you. Thank you very much.
That was Zach Campbell, your second place finisher here. We got one person to talk to, and that is none other than your race winner, Jose Solis Jr., who finally breaks the goose egg this season and gets to victory lane. Jose, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right, Jose, walk us through it, because this one seemed like a long time coming. It was a matter of opportunity and situations. You had a strong car once again tonight, and it seemed like that car only got better as the lights turned on. But walk us through that race, because it seemed very, very critical for you to get that race win. The way you were driving, it seemed like you were tired of being denied.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I had a good shot to win after I qualified like sixth. I thought I because it's hard to it's really hard to pass this track, so I thought it'd be pretty tough to get through the field. But taking 2 tires on that last stop there got me the track position I did, so I just need to pass Zach to win there. So it felt pretty good.
You finally grab a race win. We know how successful you have been in Winstel before, but this one it seemed like it was a little bit sweeter this time around with how much you've kind of had them ripped away from you at the end, whether it's been bad luck or just being kind of stuck on a bad strategy call and just watching drivers just kind of blow by, having more favorable tires in that situation. How was that frustration for you going into this race, and obviously now breaking through and getting a race win? How easy is it now to sort of start ringing off and getting more wins, back to back, potentially with Charlotte coming up, one of the most important races on the calendar? Is that a race to really kind of continue this momentum and try to go back to back and do what not a lot of people have done so far over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think Charlotte's definitely a pretty good spot for me to try and go back to back. I've always been pretty good there. I think that this win just, I can just help keep the momentum rolling and then just carry that on to Charlotte and try and win again.
It was a phenomenal race tonight. Obviously, we had a little bit of everything. We had a good green flag run. We had some chaos throughout the field. You ended up not only surviving, but thriving here at Richmond Raceway to grab your first win of the season. Before we let you get ready for Charlotte here, one of the longest races of the season, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you, the floor is yours. Congratulations on the race win. Hopefully you enjoy it a lot tonight.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely a shout out to Sean Peleg. He's the go. I think the crash he caused helped me win the race, so thanks to him.
Well, Jose, obviously enjoy the race win and enjoy the week up until Charlotte, and obviously hopefully we get to talk to you again for the third week in a row at Charlotte in 7 days' time.
Thank you.
That was Jose Solis Jr. shouting out Sean Peleg there, who was involved in that last caution with several cars at the end of that race. Again, results rolling at the top of your screen. We'll pull the top 10 back forward here. Again, this is the official results here from Richmond Raceway. Jose Solis Jr. over Zach Campbell, Gabriel Mauricio, Christian Budd, Emily Howe, another top 10 finish, top 5 this time here at Richmond Raceway. Then you have Ryan Doucette, Parker Alexander, Dylan Roberts, Tyler Head, and Nick Doucette, your top 10 here at Richmond Raceway. Don't go anywhere. We will be rating ABN Esports 2 here momentarily. They have an ongoing race at Charlotte. We'll be here for the Winstel Cup Series next weekend. ARC's A-Square Cup Series is having their biggest race of the season tonight. 200 laps for the A-Square Cup Series. It is the Bracket Buster 300 ongoing for the Bracket Challenge for them. So we'll get ready to raid all of that. But again, Jose Solis Jr. finally breaks through and grabs the race win in style. We can't wait to see you all once again. We'll see you on ABN 2, but we'll also see you on Monday, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. right here on ABN 1, HTL Daytona 500 qualifying. It'll be Joe Cortez, Kevin Young in the booth, Christina Ryan in production. I will be on track for that race on Monday. So join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. Join us on ABN 2 right now for the ARC's A-Squared Cup Series at Charlotte. Until next time, on behalf of everyone here for ABN Esports 1, for Winstel Racing in the Winstel Cup Series, I'm Carmen Sienna. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you at Daytona tomorrow. So long, everybody.